Hey, it's Steve. Welcome back. You know, I had a thought. That's right, me. I had a thought. The thought was, I see a lot of comments on like Facebook and other places where guys, dude, you don't know how to watch a bass tournament on TV. I mean, you really don't. As a matter of fact, I'm almost insulted to the point to how people overlook how important it is to pay attention when you're watching fishing on TV. Now, on the surface, it's one of those things where, yeah, let's watch them catch fish. That'll be a whole lot of fun. Well, let me give you something else to do. Learn. That's right. Learn. You can learn. Now, you might say, well, I'm never going to this lake, or I'm never going to that lake, or I don't even have a boat. Well, guess what? A lot of it is applicable no matter where you live. Let me give you some examples, okay? See a pro out there. They tell you he's fishing a popper. Well, he's fishing a popper. Great, there's 27 million of them on the market. But it's a black hula popper. How many guys are throwing a black hula popper? So you go out and you throw a black hula popper just like he was doing, and you catch nothing. And you say, Steve, I just wasted my time. Well, were you paying attention to the conditions? Was he fishing a black popper because it was muddy water? Was he fishing a black popper because it was overcast? Was he fishing a black popper because it was raining? You can learn so much by watching people catch fish. And especially if you're watching tournament coverage, you're watching some pretty good fishermen. For example, I was a kid. My father told me, when you run a trolling motor up a shoreline, you're always running into the wind. Always, no matter what. Okay? Well, I took that into all my other fishing. Well, if you run a trolling motor into the wind when you're shoreline fishing, most of the time, it's because you won't get blown into objects you're trying to fish. It gives you better control. But what if you're fishing out on a windy flat? Does it make sense to fish with the wind at your back and throw with the wind instead of against the wind? Watch some TV. Are the pros doing that? You can watch them bed fish. What are you going to learn from bed fishing? Well, have you ever seen a guy throw a big swim bait with no hooks to a bed fish? Just to see how aggressive it is? Or to try to make it more aggressive? That's right. They can't have hooks on it because if they foul hook it, that fish doesn't count. But does that open you up to throwing a big glide bait up to a bass that's on a bed? Because if you hook them a little bit sloppy, it doesn't matter to you because you're just going to unhook them. Again, you're learning something. How are they positioning their boat with the angles? Okay? Are they fishing uphill? Are they fishing downhill? Are they fishing at an angle where they can see the water better? Especially if you're a pond or a small lake fisherman and you're fishing shallow, there's definitely a direction that you want to approach the water from. And that helps. Also, when they're not telling you what the guy's using, and you're sitting here saying, right, he's just using a jig head minnow. Yeah, but he's reeling it straight. He's not doing anything, and he's catching fish. Guess what? Guy's using a scrounger head, not a jig head minnow. And that scrounger head catches fish whether you can see them or not. So from these examples, I think you could really learn a lot more about fishing if you watch it correctly. Till next time, I'm Steve.